What can I tell you? Maybe some good advice rather than just bad stories.
Well, it's Dad Pants time again. We're here, and you know what we are? You know what this is? We're just dads, getting together to wind down after a hard day's dadding. And if we can give a bit of advice in the meantime, fine. I'm yet to be convinced it's helpful, but, some people think it is, so, let's just keep going. Now, last couple of episodes, we had a missing dad. So that dad's back, but now we got another one missing. Jesus Christ. Can't get a full complement of dads to save ourselves. So, Rich, you're back, son. Hello.
I'm back. I'm bad.
Are you finished being teacher busy, or have you...
No, I'm...
Okay,
I'm completely ratchet. But I'm sticking it out, toughing it out, because I'm a dad.
Is there a particular kind of teacher job that's burdening you so, or just general teacherness?
Oh, there's a lot of general teachiness. There's a lot of programming requirements at the moment I'm trying to get through. And there's I'm doing my masters as well at the moment, so that's always fun and games. That's just kicked back into gear again, and it ramps up very quickly. So it's just a bit of too much coming too much, and then trying to be a good dad and husband and everything else all at once. It gets on top of you a bit. So feeling the pinch, but I'm sure we'll get through.
I hope that being good dad's the one that's failing, so you've got some content to kind of talk to us about here.
It always takes the back seat.
Ben, how are you, friend?
I'm good, Stu, and hello to the fellow dads with us this evening.
Yes. Well, there is another dad here.
There is.
There is another dad here.
Now, just in regards to being teacher busy, tonight I spent about between 17 and 20 minutes teaching assisting my 5-year-old daughter how to read. And that was enough teaching for me for a long time. It was very difficult. Oh. Very, very difficult. So any advice that I can get from the dads out there, or even the dads in here right now, would be great, even though my wife's a teacher as well. She came in and gave me the side eye.
Any results? Like, did you do all right or what?
Oh, no, I got kicked to the side because I'm not patient enough and haven't been educated in the ways of teaching 5-year-olds.
All right.
But it's coming. I did get a little bit of advice from my wife. She's a kindergarten teacher.
Well, what were you getting wrong? Like, she gets a shot for every sentence she gets through or something like...
What?
That's great positive reinforcement.
But
I'd support that.
My issue is that I feel like she knows all of the words that she's reading, and yet refuses to read them.
Right. Yeah. Just to show you up.
So, just to sort of to push my buttons. And sadly, it's not actually about me, but in that particular point in time, it does rile me up. It really riles me up because
pretty paranoid viewpoint you have there.
Well, it's one of those things about being a dad. Sometimes you're a little bit paranoid about stuff. But she is 5 and is learning how to read, and I am 42 and can't understand that. I can't understand that concept.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue. Thanks for listening.
No, that's okay. And you know what? I might just check. So we got Rich, we got Ben, we got me. Any other dads out there? Hello?
Is that you trying to get me to talk there? Is that what you're talking about?
That's me trying to get you to talk. It's Motsy, everybody. He's a dad.
Hey, guys. It's good to be back. It's good to be a dad.
Congratulations.
How are the pants feeling?
Pants are feeling like they fit all kinds of different. It's great.
All right. Well, you're awake and you're talking, so that's a win. So your daughter was born late June. We are now mid-ish August. So are you getting sleep yet, fella?
Yeah, I sure am. She's been really, really good. The first, I want to say 3 weeks or so, sleep was hard to come by. It was kind of shift work from me and Lindsay. But then we just decided to start trying to kind of everyone go to the bedroom at night time and kind of just get up in there, and that kind of worked quite well, kind of almost too well, to the point where she's going down for kind of 2 5-hour, 6-hour stretches at night and has a feed in between. But the last maybe 4 or 5 days, we've hit a bit of kind of maybe 6 onwards, 6 to about midnight. She's just all sorts of fractious and kind of burpy and farty and kind of just not feeling good. So it's been a bit tougher the last couple of days, but all around pretty good. And yeah, I'm getting good sleep. So yeah, not too bad.
What about your wife, though? Equal or?
Yeah, equal. I mean, I'm getting up. I've made a point of it to get up when she's feeding. I'm usually not that much help, and I cop a lot of shit from Linz usually because I'm just like, oh, that sounds hard. Oh, it's no good. And she's like, just shut up. Either go to sleep or help out. But I can't.
Or get me some Captain Crunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of cereal fetching. But no, it's she's sleeping. I'm sleeping at the moment. Knock on wood. Everything going well.
Awesome. I like the phrase "all sorts of fractious" too. It's one I'll be weaving into various things throughout the week.
I've been using fractious a lot, and Linz had never heard the word before. Is everyone familiar with the word fractious?
Yeah, I can't say it gets much of a run, but I'm aware of it, yeah.
No.
It will now, for sure.
Good.
Well, look, we're going to ask you some more questions, Monty, and get some more kind of news out of you. Before we do, though, I might just get through a couple of quick bits of admin. I'd like to shout out my friend Kenny, who has also just become a father. Yes, I doubt he's getting any sleep yet because, it's within the last 2 weeks. But, yeah, well done, Kenny. And, yeah, all the best. Thinking about you.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Kenny.
Good job.
Well
mate.
done.
I'd also like to shout out our friends at Melted Toasted Sandwiches in Canberra,
Yeah.
Nice.
who I tagged in a Dad Pants post, and they've been having a chat to us, and they have said that they're, they're happy to for us to come in and have a bit more of a look around and a chat. So we might get roving reporter Matt onto that at some point, because there's nothing we like talking about more than nice, melty, warm, toasted sandwiches. So, Monty, you have...
A toasted sandwich maker?
yeah, do you have a flat press or a jaffle maker?
No, but I feel I need one. I was just explaining we had some spaghetti bolognese that we had frozen some time ago for dinner tonight. And my wife was saying, what are we going to do with the leftovers? And I said, we could make jaffles. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said,
Was it like you'd said fractious?
Yeah, it was very similar. She's been looking at me weird for a lot of words. Yeah. I was in a band called Fractious Jaffles. So yeah, I tried to explain jaffles. Apparently, it's not a other parts of the world thing.
Is that not on the kind of quiz you have to answer to get into the country, citizenship style?
Jaffle. What's a jaffle?
Well, yeah. What's Don Bradman's average? What the hell's a jaffle?
Yep.
Yeah, I would put that on there. Do you guys subscribe to the putting old bolognese sauce in a jaffle?
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
What do you think? What do you think we are?
Good. I was made to feel weird today, so yeah, thank you. That's good.
Any leftover food, well, not any, but a large percentage of leftover food will always go well in a jaffle.
Yeah.
Anything that's cooked in a sauce can go in a jaffle.
Yeah,
I think
that's
is
fair.
Well, not butter chicken according to Wiggo, but
Why not?
Well, that's just a personal thing.
You wouldn't put it. Why not? Oh.
Now, I'm sorry. We were going to ask Monty some questions, and I overtook it with Toasty talk again.
No, that's good.
Sorry,
no, that's
Stu.
okay. That's all right. Let's ask him some questions. You guys got any questions for Monty about his first almost 2 months of fatherhood?
I have one question, Monty, and that is, have you had the one night yet where Bubs has slept all the way through and you've woken up with a start, thinking, hang on a second, what's going on here? And run into the baby's room and found them just beautifully asleep. And you've realised that you've just had your first full night's sleep since the baby's been here.
Happened yesterday morning. We
we were talking about this earlier.
we went to sleep at about 11 after her just being all sorts of hard and just kind of like farts, burps, not feeling good. Put her down, and I'm back at work, working from home. So Lynn said, "Don't worry about getting up. You can just sleep through. I'll keep it quiet so that you can sleep for work." And woke up at about 8 a.m. going, "Oh, that was great. She didn't wake me up. Nothing wrong with that. I roll over and she's asleep still." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much for being quiet." She says, "What do you mean? It's 2 a.m., right?" And I'm like, "No, it's 8 in the morning." She's like, "Oh my God, I haven't fed that baby." And then
That baby.
yeah, we don't have that baby in her own room yet. She's still in our room. But we both jumped up and looked at her and like, "Oh, she's sleeping like an angel and absolutely fine." We were a bit kind of worried the whole day, like, "Oh, should we feed her more now? Like, has she eaten enough?" But no, it was brilliant. It was lovely. And it was, a solid kind of 7 or 8 hours, and it was amazing. But yeah, woke up utterly scared.
Yeah, Monty and I were talking about this earlier, and I felt bad because we forgot to warn him about that, didn't we? We forgot to warn him about that night when they sleep through and you wake up terrified.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, what has happened? That was scary.
But it only happens the once, so don't get excited.
Yeah, sure, I can imagine.
Because every subsequent time it's like, go back to sleep.
All right, so you've passed through the moment of being terrified.
Several
What other-
moments.
like,
I've
we've
had
heard-
several moments of being terrified.
We've heard your dad diaries, but is there anything else, any other thoughts, observations, or anything from your first, weeks of fatherhood that you kind of want analysed or kind of, drawn out a little?
I keep living in this weird world where everything seems so important and so like it's all consuming and everything now, yet I can see in a more meta kind of macro way that this won't mean that much later on, that this will be very different to what the rest of it is. And I felt that during the giving birth thing and everything, and you're like, wow, this is everything in the world right now, but this, you'll barely remember this. This won't be much. I think it's different with her at this age, but I do feel like what I'm doing now is not really the bulk of dadding, if you know what I mean. It's not kind of, it doesn't, I mean, I'm kind of just helping still with everything to do with breastfeeding. I'm still kind of being there. Me and my beautiful daughter, her name's August. I don't know if you... Yeah, I remember. I think you said it on the podcast. Me and Augie have been kind of doing a little bit of talking in the morning and stuff like that, and she's getting there and kind of making sounds and looking at me. But other than that, I'm not offering much as a dad just yet, if you know what I mean, other than kind of cuddles and whatnot. That will change, right? I'll get to teach her how to read and stuff, right?
Yeah. I think just, your reassuring presence is probably what you're providing at the moment, right?
I hope so.
I think that, I think that as in general, I think that it's far too easy to give yourself too much crap. Like, I think that you just got to accept that your instincts are generally pretty good. Yep. So if you do something wrong, it's probably not going to adversely affect them in the long term. And if you feel like it's right and she's happy and smiling and engaging with you and making eye contact, all those little things, that's amazing. Good. Like, that's all you can do at the moment. Good. Because as you say, she can barely see, let alone
exactly.
Yep. So you're just making her feel safe, and that's all you can do, and keeping yourself and your significant other as happy as possible while you're going through the process. So
that's like good advice.
Absolute bang up job.
Well, thank you.
And remember, at any given point, there's not one right thing you should be doing.
Yeah, that's
so there's a limit to how hard you can be on yourself for not doing whatever it is you feel you should be at any given point.
Well, one thing.
Question, Monty.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I'll just quickly jump in here.
Please.
It's a pretty easy one to answer. But have you found yourself at one time or another just sitting somewhere with Augie, and then all of a sudden 4 hours have passed?
Yes, often.
Yes, it's good, isn't it?
It's weird. I thought it was related to sleeplessness, but then it just keeps happening, even though I'm still sleeping better. And that worried me a few times. I'd be like, holy shit, 6 o'clock. What have I done? What has she done? Should she be fed? Where is everyone? What's going on? But I absolutely get that. A good thing that I have said to Lindsay many times is that it's been the happiest time of my life. This has been by far the best thing I've ever done, and it has been the happiest and best time I've ever been through. So that's a good thing, I think.
That bit of perspective
Has she found
where you don't have to, you're not worried about anything external. Like there's no work to worry about at that stage. There's no one's asking you for anything.
Yep.
It's literally just you and your partner and your baby.
Well, particularly so in lockdown, right?
I was going to say lockdown even added to that, where we didn't even have to tell people to leave and stuff like that. It's just been the three of us, and it's been great.
Yeah,
there has been one of the interesting things has been the greyhounds. I have two greyhounds, and slowly them getting kind of used to it. It's very funny because there is that thing that if I turn away, they might eat her. They won't, but it's still kind of in my mind.
Yeah, they might nibble.
Yeah, it might just try it out, see what it's like. But it's funny. I found that they're actually far more concerned about her. They will start crying when she's crying and come over and look at us like, what's going on? What are you doing? But I think it's more like, shut this thing up, I want to sleep, less than kind of, I want her to feel better. But that has been an interesting, that's the only kind of outside world than the three of us we were, reacting to.
So are you willing and able to tell us a little bit about the actual day of birth itself?
Yeah, absolutely. It was insane, to say the least. It was the craziest thing I've ever been through. It started on a Monday evening. So we were getting an induction. See, it's so funny how quickly you forget, because it was so important then and so nothing now. Getting inducted.
Well, that might be the first thing she disagrees with, but anyway.
Getting inducted on a Monday evening so she said, go home, feed the dogs and stuff, come back. Everything was supposed to kick off in the morning. They gave her some gel in the evening to just see what was going on. I went home, fed the dogs, came back with some dinner. As I got back, they said, quickly come in the room, shut the door. Everything's kicked off. Her waters have broke. There's meconium, poo in the water. So we got to get this baby out ASAP kind of thing. Like, that's what's going on. It's like, whoa, shit, okay. The baby doesn't come ASAP. The baby is just labouring all evening. Lindsay labouring all evening. About maybe 2 a.m. hits the I want the drugs button. And we're like, okay, sweet, let's do that. She gets the drugs, gets a bit better. We get to about 8 or 9 in the morning. The drugs are wearing off. She needs more drugs. That's not working well. Get to about 11 a.m. the following day, after about 6 the evening before, and it's like, no, we need to do an emergency C-section right now. And it's like, whoa, that's pretty hectic. And so 10 minutes later, we're in the theatre, and it's, absolutely insane. They tell me to, get in my theatre gear, and I'm waiting in this room, and they say, you wait in this room, we'll go get everything ready. And I'm sitting in the room on my own.
Did you have like a scarf and a beret and stuff, and then they got...
I was going to say, did you dress as King Lear?
I used theatre stuff. I was more thinking like one of the cool doctors from like ER in the 90s with like a bandana on and my own kind of cool scrubs. But the King Lear stuff's better. So anyway, I'm sitting in there on my own, very nervous and like freaking out, and then they say, come in, and you're sitting there with her, and there's the thing up so that I can't look down, and that's probably for the best. I really didn't want to look at that.
Sure is.
And,
sure is.
And we're sitting there and freaking out a little bit, and they're getting her out, and it's sounding pretty hectic down there. And then there's one moment they pull her out and we hear her cry, and that's very emotional and great. But then there's a lot of franticness, and they grab her and they hold her, and they've got her over there, and I'm looking at her, and it's all crazy. And then it finally feels a little better when I hear one of the ladies over there start laughing, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And she calls the other people in the room over and says, "Look at this baby. Look how big this baby is. Baby's huge." And I was like, "What?" So, yeah, we had a very, very large baby. And that was what, eventually was like, okay, everything's all right. She's fine. She's well. If they're laughing, everything's fine. And, that's a kind of pretty brief rundown of
What if they're
how it all went.
So what kind of weight were we talking?
She was 4.44 kilos. And
so not ridiculous.
Not ridiculous, but neither me nor my wife are of any kind of largeness.
Very big people.
Yeah. And the main thing was she was 95th percentile head size. She was all head. Lindsay kept saying she was like a bobblehead. She wasn't coming through the regular way. She was going out the sunroof, no questions. And she was 95th percentile in length as well, very long, very tall. But so that's the kind of brief rundown of how it all happened.
Well,
Hey, look, that it hit a few buttons with me. I definitely got thinking back to the experiences that I've had. It's pretty cool, but it is so intense in that moment, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It was really cool, and I don't think I was ever that really worried. I kind of knew that it was all fine. The good thing about the long labour was August was always fine. She was good during the whole thing, so that made me feel fine. But yeah, it was quite nerve-wracking at the end there, just thinking, wow, the two most important women in my life are in major surgery right now.
Yeah. Mm. And how did Lindsay kind of come back from that, mentally and emotionally as well? Well, obviously physically it takes time, but mentally and emotionally?
So far, really good. Smashed it. Been a real trooper, but we are aware that, you can get PTSD from that kind of thing. It's like a major event, and so you got to kind of, even if you're not thinking about it in the front of your mind, make sure that you're kind of processing it all right. So there's still a bit of that, but she's so far smashing it, absolutely doing really well. But good to keep on that in case it changes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sorry, everything got very unfunny for a little while here.
No, we're it's Dad Pants. It's not Crazy Dad Comedy Hour.
I thought we were recording Crazy Dad Comedy Hour tonight. Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah.
Well, I think if we can't spend some time talking about the birth of your child, then we've probably got the remit of this podcast wrong completely.
However, we made the remit, right? So
yes.
Yes, we did.
It's Crazy Dad Comedy Hour.
So, all right, Monty. Well, that's a pretty big start to your dadding life, but it sounds like everything's been smooth since then. Apart from a couple of little issues which you might seek some advice from the Pants panel on when we come back from this break.
Whenever I'm out dildo shopping in Fishwick and I need a delicious tasty snack, I like nothing better than dropping into Melted for one of their delicious Reuben sandwiches. Or why not try the butter chicken special? Wiggins, what do you think of the butter chicken special?
I'm going to pass on the butter chicken special, but the Reuben is amazing. Yes. I'd also like some chips, thanks.
Some chips.
I'll just take a salad.
Do they do a Monte Cristo? I like that as a sandwich. That's a good sandwich.
You arrogant bastard. Why would they... Why would you need to eat a sandwich named after you?
There are kids named Reuben.
They're not on a podcast ordering their own sandwich, though.
Oh, that's melted toasted sandwiches in Fishwick. Try it today.
Dillies and Sanders.
Can someone get me some firecrackers, please?
Melted toasted sandwiches have everything you're looking for.
I'll have the Reuben.
I'll also have the Reuben. I really like Reubens. That's a good sandwich.
Great name too.
Yeah.
Like bechamel on everything. So
I was going to say the old croque monsieur is hard to go past.
Croque monsieur is a good sanger. Yeah.
This is a long ad. Or
I don't know what a croque monsieur is.
It's just a
it's like a croque madame, but without the egg on top.
Say ham and cheese then.
French, so
The bloody French.
Ham-on-y queso.
yeah, that's a good place to end.
Have we sorted out what the collective noun of dads is yet? I know that was one of our
Oh,
missions.
yeah. Well, we had a few. There was a post that we put in our Dad Pants Facebook group a little while ago, which you can join and talk to us in. And when I say us, it's pretty much me and occasionally Matt. But the question was put out there: what is a good collective noun for a group of dads? Now, my answer to that was a beef. I like the idea of a beef of dads. That's a group of dads. We had Peter Barry say an amber of dads, which I assume is a reference to the liquid. Mike Barry said a scrotum of dads. That's not very bad, is it? And Rich, you had a sack of dads as well.
Yeah,
Which,
or a rack of dads.
Oh, rack of dads is good.
And our friend Tony Rowell of Punny You Should Say That, which is a podcast you can enjoy with us on it occasionally, he said a barbecue. So there you are. Yes. Although that does sound more like a line of sperm donors. A barbecue. So yeah, there's a little list of potential collective nouns for dads.
A scrum of fathers.
Just before we push on with more new Dad Monty gear, Ben or Rich, you got any kind of dad anecdotes or any kind of dad-related stuff that's happened to you this week?
Well, I'm in a bit of a... I don't know if I flagged it before, but we're trying to get our son off the nappies for the number twos.
Oh, right.
And in quite serious kind of tone, even though it is obviously incredibly toilet related and hilarious because of it. Is this a guy thing? This boy thing? Like, he just refuses to drop his solids in the toilet. It's just not happening. Like, he wears undies all day, but hangs on. Like, he will come home and put on a nappy in order to go to the toilet. Is this something which is this boy behaviour? Because our daughter, we had no dramas whatsoever. So I'm just wondering if anyone's had anything similar, or is this just my freaky son and we need to do something with it?
You know what? I'm struggling to remember. It was a bloody long time ago, which is not helpful for a podcast. But I do remember that. I do remember that we did offer up a bit of a prize for pooing on the toilet.
Yeah. We've tried that. We've really kind of pushed it out, and we're just not getting any return on it.
He's meant to push it out.
Yeah,
Was there
I
a
know.
poo chart? Has there been a poo chart involved?
Yeah, we've had poo charts. You see, he's been reluctant the whole time. But we've kind of got the toileting happening, and now this is just kind of getting beyond a joke now. Like, he's basically getting to the stage where he's reciting TV shows and movies back, so he's very vocal and he's very, he's out there. He's 3.5, but he looks like a 5-year-old. So he's quite big as well. So it's just a bit ridiculous now.
Yeah.
Like, the nappies literally aren't fitting him anymore. We're kind of having to look at going to the Depends area of the nappy section just to try and get something which fits him.
Are you trying the team poo? Like, is he pooing with you? Like, would you, do you have the capacity?
A two-toilet
of, like, the 4
bathroom?
o'clock drop?
I don't think so. We don't,
What?
we,
You might be revealing a little more about your family life than...
Well, I'm thinking, like,
this is why
okay,
the bathroom's taken so long to renovate. He's got double toilets in everywhere.
that's right. We've got 3 toilets.
The whole family going at once.
So I'm thinking, like, more of a. I mean, he's probably too big for a potty now too. Like,
Yeah, this is the
he'd
thing.
crush
Like,
it.
it's just, well, he was never into it. He didn't take.
What about one of
Like,
those
I was just
camping,
saying-
like, homemade boxes?
Ooh.
Or just dig him a latrine.
Yeah,
out the
latrine
back.
vibe would work.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, come summertime, we're just going to lock him out.
Yeah.
And
That's what I do with the greyhounds. Yeah, they eventually poop out there. So, yeah, that'd work.
you'll find somewhere. But yeah, I was just on the off chance. So if anyone else has got any tips or tricks, so we've tried bribery, and and I hate to do it. We're kind of getting to the angry point, and it's really not. I know how counterproductive that is. But we just don't know
Ellis,
how else to
I
kind
feel
of...
that in my soul. I feel that in my soul.
You know what's wrong? In your heart of hearts, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. But it's so frustrating when he just refuses to, he knows he needs to go. It's not he's fully aware of what's going on because he goes and puts his name. He doesn't have accidents in his undies or anything like that. But yeah, anyway. I don't know.
Geez, he's a good holder on her, huh?
I think our idea was good, though. I think, you wait till it's a bit warmer. Then you get some real kind of Western Front vibes going on with some trenches out in the backyard and just kind of, he can live out there and
get
really,
a bit of mustard gas going on in the background.
You said he wasn't having issues in his pants, right? So it's just he puts the nappy on.
No. Yeah, he goes and puts it on himself.
So if he had no access to nappies, what would happen?
Well, this is kind of where we're getting down to now. Like, See, we're not really keen on the nighttime no nappy situation.
Oh, that could end terribly. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, the suggestion maybe of withholding the nappies from him, but is that something is this kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's one of those things where we don't want to... The impact of this psychologically can be... You were talking before about, what am I doing? How's this going to impact them? From firsthand, from experiencing with kids with trauma and stuff like that, you really do see how sometimes these types of situations can affect kids incredibly negatively.
Okay,
But then there's no alternative apparent in front of you some of the time, right?
Well, this is it. But he's very proud of it. He comes in and says, "I've got my nappy on," and he strips around and
it's full of
turds. He laughs in your face, and that's it. He laughs in your face while you're changing it. He goes, "You got to change my bum." It's a Stewie Griffin moment-esque.
So is it a connection thing? Like, is it just he just doesn't want to do it by himself, or he goes off and does
we've tried. We've sat there and tried sitting with him, bribing him with. You can watch, Paw Patrol or Bluey or whatever he wants to watch on the phone.
Rick and Morty
on the toilet. Yeah, absolutely. We have a bit of father-son bonding time watching Rick and Morty. That's great. But it just doesn't seem to. I don't know. He won't do it. He just won't, and it's that pure anal retentiveness. But
that's funny.
Well, in more ways than one.
Yeah, that's funny.
If you have any kind of tips for Rich, get in contact. Let us know. Also, on the subject of nappies, Monty, you may have heard in a recent episode, you gave us the question, any nappy tips to the pants panel. And we essentially said we didn't know what you wanted exactly, but just try harder was the advice that we gave you. But we weren't too sure kind of what you were asking. Now, were we right that maybe you're having some leakage issues?
Yeah, it was very early on. The issues I was having more were, I don't know, it probably wasn't conscious on her part, but she was doing a number one and a number two whenever I would go to change the nappy. So in between nappy one and nappy two, I would always get a
spray.
Yeah, a ablution of some sort.
That happens so often. It's almost like
it's weird,
some
right?
sort of sensory reaction to fresh air, right?
Yeah, I'd say it would be. Yeah,
yeah, but I've gotten a lot better at nappies. I think I still occasionally don't pull out the little folds enough on the sides, and you get a bit of leakage. But I'm getting a lot better at that. Yeah.
Have you had this? I loved when, when we first had our daughter, and we were sitting there, and you treat them with so much care, and they're like literally these little breakable objects in your hands, and then you watch a midwife put them into a one,
yep,
and they're like literally jamming their arms and elbows out, like their elbows are bending over, and they just rip their wrists straight out. You're just like, oh my god, they're going to. But you realise how unbreakable.
That's exact. I've been through that exact same thing too. Yeah,
we're so we just coddle them so much, and they're just capable of so much flexibility and everything at that age. But I think that's a.
I'm really proud of the strength of Augie's neck. Lindsay's always like, you should hold her neck more. And I'm like, nah, she's gaining it. She's getting a real strong neck.
She'll be sweet.
And she is. It's
She's got a
paid
huge
off.
head. She's got no.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, she had to work at this from day dot. And now she's lifting that giant head of hers up. And so it's like, she's smashed. She's all
Should be a
neck.
rugby prop, no dramas.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
going to say a Canadian Greco-Roman wrestling
Exactly.
team, maybe.
It's been now. I have some questions for you guys, and I listened to your chatting about being a father on the sidelines of sports games, and I think that you guys all came at it with a very small geographic area. Like, you guys are all from the same place, right? The Central Coast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, originally, yes.
Yeah, originally, and that's where your childhood sporting kind of father on the sideline stuff would have come from. I came from the outer inner west and played a lot of soccer growing up. The fathers were very different at soccer to what you guys described. There was, within my, from about 5 to 20 years old, I have seen 20 or 30 different games end in fights between the sidelines. Like, it's just so much testosterone, so many different ethnic groups, so much kind of, you need to be doing better at this. It's that old soccer quote, Platini said it, I think. Some people say soccer's a matter of life and death. That's not true. It's far more important than that. And it's like that kind of fervour, that kind of vigour. And, it usually ends with punch-ons. And you get a bunch of 16-year-old Italian, Portuguese and Greek kids around. It's just, showing off, ready to fight, all that kind of stuff. So I had a very different experience with sporting sidelines growing up. So, that's I wanted to get into that. But then I wanted to get into the strong neck. I've been watching a lot of Olympics with Augie as well. And I wanted to ask you guys about, as she has a mother from Canada and a father from Australia, when do I push her to start taking Australian teams, as I assume she's going to be a strong-necked athlete of some sort, or where do I push her to take Canada because she wouldn't make a better Australia team?
Now, got to start early.
Yep.
If you just indoctrinate early, I don't think there'll be no turning back.
Love it.
And that's where I think maybe something as simple as we don't start with any bluey or any sort of anything like that. You're literally just watching like
Highlights.
Regan
Clockwork Orange style. Like it's a lot of
Matilda's
rugby,
games.
or it's a lot of Matildas, or it's a lot of
I can handle that.
Now, Monty, Ben, not so much, but very definitely Richard. He's indoctrinated his children very early. When did you start putting them in Sydney Swans gear, Rich?
From birth.
Nice.
That was pretty much straight away.
Yeah, she's got a Swannies outfit as well. She's been wearing her Swannies stuff,
excellent.
of course.
Beautiful. Yep. In there. That's fairly uncontroversial, I'm assuming. There's not really a
No question at all.
Canadian equivalent in there.
and the colours fit perfectly.
Exactly. And Mike Pike, the great Canadian who played for the Swans, has always been
Absolutely,
a huge part of it. So,
Yeah.
no problems there. That's not the issue. I think it was
And I suppose with ice hockey, is she going to be with thinking Leafs fan?
Oilers, mate. Oilers. She already has an Oilers jersey, a Draisaitl jersey sent by her grandparents in Canada.
So I suppose it's going to come down to the football and soccer,
It's
really.
it's
isn't it?
national team stuff. And I want her to play soccer. I want her to play the round ball game. And it was upsetting watching the Tillies go out early and then watching Canada do so bloody well.
Do you think that the allegiance stuff is going to be more from your wife's extended family than your wife? Because is your wife that into sport at all? Or...
No, not really. Yes, it'll be more the extended family.
Oh, well, you don't need to worry about them, do you? They're bloody other side of the world. What are they going to do?
They do listen to the pod.
Well,
Oh no, Mont, as a parent, it's early doors, but how do you feel your sideline persona is going to affect your daughter's performance, or
interesting.
how much of a part of that?
Well, I was listening.
Are you going to be?
Yeah, I was listening to your the whole chat about it and thinking about how I will react to that. I think I got a really good feel of that when about 4 years ago my wife decided to start for the first time ever a soccer team, a six-a-side soccer team with the nurses she worked with, and I volunteered to coach. And so I, for the first time ever, was coaching 6 grown women who had never played football before playing football. Let's just say I only lasted one season because I was maybe a bit too too harsh on him, a little too
Rambunctious?
Well, it was that thing that one of you guys was saying, jockey. It was stuff like that. I was yelling, park the bus. You got to. Where's the trequartista? What are we doing out here? And they're just looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like that kind of vibe. So I think I might be a bit too into it. So I want to work on that now and try and cool that down a bit.
So do you feel that playing the round ball game, and you would have heard that my experience with my son playing basketball was just turned into a horrendous experience for him, and he'll never play again.
Yes.
Because I was too close to it.
Yep. And that's my worry.
Do you feel... Yeah.
Yeah, because
you're a football nut. I worry if she starts playing football that you're going to...
It's not exactly the most as you say, it's much more important than life and death.
Exactly.
That's the kind of mentality, and I can understand that going in. It's a very difficult thing to separate yourself from, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you already looking at her kind of working out what a position would be? What an optimal, like, is she a defender or?
Well, it depends how big the
with
neck
that
is.
actually the head,
Yes.
up front, surely.
Yeah, big bonce, Australia style. Yeah, get a big head up the front. That's what we do. So yeah, maybe
the big sweeper at the back.
Yeah,
that's calling the plays.
Yeah, I like that too.
Hacking the bone at the end of the strikers that come in.
Studs up.
Yeah, I don't know.
The bone.
But I am thinking about it a lot. It's a worry. I should maybe leave it for a while.
Just a little while. But apparently it's never too early to indoctrinate them in the club that you want them to follow.
Correct.
Also,
and you've got to have a plan.
Yeah.
My wife's English as well. She was born in England.
There you go.
And so we've had a fair bit of a couple of little English kit stuff come in the mail, and they've all disappeared, funnily enough. I'm not quite sure what happened to a lot of that type of stuff.
That's the right thing to happen to that stuff. So
yeah,
that's
I don't know. These kind of things just happen.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened to that? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, your football jersey's gone home. Football's coming home. Yeah.
Rich and I have been friends for decades. I had no idea about that. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he keeps it all, because he chucks it all out.
And me and another good dad out there, Mr. Phillips, we tried to indoctrinate Wiggins' daughter, taking to the rugby league, and bought her
one of the
cute...
better sporting stories.
Yeah, stitch ups.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, it was a stitch up, but I take full responsibility as a parent. It was my responsibility to have her indoctrinated prior to giving her the opportunity to be indoctrinated.
So hang on. Before you go on, for context, Ben goes for the Cronulla Sharks in the NRL Rugby League, but Richard and Phillips, the other fellow we're talking about here, Souths guys, South Sydney Rabbitohs.
If you're asking a 3 or 4 year old girl at the time, which would you prefer? A flag with a fluffy bunny on it, or the flag with the great white shark on it? It wasn't the money or the box for her, so we had a little bit of South indoctrination going on there. That was a good little move. So just be careful, I suppose, is what I'm saying to the dads out there. Make sure that you indoctrinate before someone else gets their
club groom
opportunity
on.
to get their teeth.
That's brought back memories. I have a friend of the family's was, as I grew up, trying to indoctrinate me into the South's culture as well. Yeah, I remember that now. Wow, that's brought
Did he
back
start by knocking all your teeth out?
No, I mean, this was in the... we are a Balmain Tigers family, and we weren't brilliant at this time in South Sabetta, so I was tempted at that time. But
I'll put some boo sound effects under there. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, look, everyone's been tempted before, but you always have to go back to what you know is right.
Yes,
in your own heart.
Good. Agreed.
My daughter still goes for Souths. So.
Does she really?
Yep. Oh, look,
that is awesome.
Every time I see her now, like we always like. It is a brilliant story, and I think the nuance of the story is probably lost in how we've told it. But basically,
I don't think the moral of the story is very good. Get them early and just brainwash them.
Yeah, but it's such a good story. I mean, I'm not even mad. So basically, we showed up. It was the first game of football that I'd taken my daughter to, and it was just a trial game. So we showed up, we sit down, and obviously I'm there with my 4-year-old daughter. And both Craig and Richard didn't have kids at this time. So they both said at the same time, who wants a drink? And off they went, with me thinking, oh, well, isn't that lovely? They knew that I was here with my daughter. You know, they've gone to grab a drink. Isn't that great? They'll probably get her something from the snack bar as well. Little did I know that they would then come back and before they even handed me my drink, handed over a South flag, and that's the end. Like, and there we go.
Wow.
And she's never wavered. If you ask her right now, what team do you go for?
You're supposed to wave a flag, though.
Thank you, Stu.
It's a dad podcast. We're meant to do dad jokes. Come on, guys.
It was good, Stu. I'll give it.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
That's right. We're meant to be more supportive of our dad jokes, aren't we?
Well.
No, I think that's the level of support that dad jokes deserve.
All right. We're going to be like that, are we? Monty, did you have other questions or feedback?
Oh, just some recent stuff that I'd been doing too. I got last COVID a fire pit as well, and I've been
COVID. As in last year.
Yeah, last year.
As in, like,
last time we were locked down.
# first COVID.
Yeah, COVID one.
COVID, I got a fire pit.
And I've taken
Then I realised everything was shit.
So first of all, go on. You got a next line?
Yeah, I want to know where it's going.
Yep.
I was going to turn into something about roasting a baby, so I just...
Oh, man.
This year,
It was going to get dark.
I'll crack a craft beer.
That's good.
And light that fire pit again. There you go.
All right. I have taken to burning everything. So I'm just getting as much stuff. My garden's so full of stuff that I'm just like, I'm putting leaves on there, dry leaves.
Why?
Why? To get rid of the leaves, not to burn, not for fire's sake, more as a practical kind of clear the garden's sake.
What about your green bin?
The green bin is full. The green bin's been full for months. Like
Put it out.
Oh, well, it's full every time it goes out.
That's
what
great.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
That needs to go at the top of the pod.
Put your green bin out. So first of all, I heard you guys mentioning sand for the bottom. I'm one of those dads that don't know what you're talking about. Why do I need sand in the bottom?
Well, so you don't kind of burn the fuck out of the bottom of your fire pit?
That's right. You don't want direct fire onto the bottom of your fire pit. Otherwise, the bottom of your fire pit's going to like fall out of its own asshole.
Oh man, I got a pretty.
Which we don't want.
Yeah, definitely don't want that. Wow. Okay. I've been burning stuff in there. There's a lot of. Yeah, maybe I should put some sand in there. I suppose. Shit.
Well, look,
I should point out
need
too. I don't know. This might be obscure for people who remember, but the family barbecue I went to, where we had a fire, and then the dads had a competing fire. There wasn't any sand in either of those fires. What, like, are they like? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't subscribe. I just let the residual ash. That'll do.
Yeah, I got a heap of residual ash there now. That's fine.
There you go. There's the title.
Residual ash. All sorts of fractiousness or whatever it was is what I'm going with so far.
Now, I need to, this is a moment of, where I reflect in most of the pods that we do, and I tell you something that I did stupidly in regards to something we'd spoken about earlier.
You tell us stupidly, or the thing was stupid?
Both of those things. Okay. I'm terrible at words. I got our new fire pit up and running.
Yep.
And flame on, all good. Kindling, well managed kindling, well managed fire up until the point where I had no in betweens. And I went too early with a
logs.
With a
you
log.
went too early on with the big logs.
Yeah.
So what happened? Just go out, just go soft and kind of...
Well, so this is where I got out-dadded by the neighbour, right?
He brought some over.
No, not allowed. But he did throw his half-size blower.
Oh,
right? He's got a battery-powered blower.
How good's that? Yeah, love a blower on a fire.
I got the blower onto the fire pit.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
It's just spectacular.
Yeah.
Absolutely spectacular.
You got to
So-
start off gentle with that. You don't want to kind of go in too hard with the blower on a fire, especially with the crowd around.
It gets crazy.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
but-
it can get intense.
What I've realised is that I need to buy an axe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's one of the great dad moments.
I've
The first time you actually go and buy your own axe.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
bizarrely, I've just inherited a lot of axes, but never bought one myself.
Oh.
I don't know why
A lot
people
of
I know
axes at once?
keep giving me axes.
That's what I mean. Like I've
Here's
always
a
had-
weapons box.
Yeah, indeed. That's an axe special weapons box. Wow. Did
I've got
you?
at least 5 axes that I've been given. Like, when do I get a chance to buy my
gosh.
own damn axe?
Do
Hang
people
on.
just kind of? They may be people from the future coming around giving you these with the. So Stuart, have you got your axe?
No, they're trying to
They're just-
We
indoctrinate
keep trying. We
They're
keep
sitting
trying.
into the axe throwing Australian axe throwing team.
Well, I don't want to get into David Foster.
by any chance, and just
Oh,
guys?
David Foster.
Nice. Bit of David Foster, you beauty.
I think
Ultimate
David.
dad sport.
Yeah, I was going to say wood chopping, ultimate dad
2032
sport.
Olympics.
I know. Here's a phrase that's said often on this podcast. We might dedicate a future episode to David Foster and wood chopping. just to add to the pile, the wood pile that is quickly growing. Yeah. So hang on. Let me just backtrack slightly here. Now, did you not buy any kind of middle ground wood?
Well, I thought that I had, but it turns out that I hadn't. What I should have done was pre-bought an axe and then split the log into maybe thirds, and that would have given me, some sort of intermediary, timber work,
Yeah.
rather than just basically dousing my, making my fire worse by putting heaps of wood on it, which is a really strange thing. But
Also, last time you said this fire pit was out on your front yard, so your whole neighbourhood's watching you mess up your wood rotation.
so there were 3 fire pits out on front lawns
Fair
on that
dinks.
day,
Whoa.
and so like embarrassing, yeah, absolutely. Did I get it up and running? The fire with help of the blower and some intermediary wood that I'd found around the place. Yes, I did. Did we have a good night? Yes.
So what is this weird kind of?
Do you like rhetorical questions?
I do. Yes.
Do I?
What is this weird kind of fire pits all the way up the street situation you've got with your
I was
neighbours?
gonna say front yard fire pit.
Is it? Yeah.
Were you talking to each other?
Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
that I've ever
That's-
seen
yes.
that before, except in maybe
Well, look-
Lord of the Rings when they were trying to get those the signal across to Rohan that the invasion was happening.
Gary Rohan. The so basically, look, Monty, you may not know this, but I live in a street where I'm basically part of a cult. So
A
we're
cul-de-sac.
actually, we're really good friends with a large number of our neighbours.
Okay.
There's a lot of children. There's a lot of in pre-COVID times there was quite a lot of get-togethers and fun times.
Cool.
The essentially, Monty, their street is so tight with each other that Matt, Rich, and myself find it highly suspicious and feel the whole street is probably a cult of some kind.
Okay. I'm
Because
getting
nobody
cult vibes.
likes their neighbours as much as these people seem to like each other.
You ever seen that
without it
movie
being
away on
Training
trips
Day?
together.
Is it like that movie Training Day?
What is Denzel Washington my neighbour?
Yeah, like do you have all those gangster
smoking
guys that
weed.
are all hanging out the front of their house? They seem to all have fire pits out the front of their house in Training Day.
In barrels, though.
And
rather.
also watch out because they'll all turn on you one day.
Oh,
Sorry, I've gotten to Training Day. I watched Training Day recently.
Too close to the bone.
You'll get a chance to fire off a cracking monologue, though, before...
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I run shit here. You just live here. That kind of vibe.
Yeah.
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 The
All right,
so,
sorry.
While your
we're all
fire's
having
burning
fun.
out because you haven't got
Yeah,
any
that's right.
middling wood to put on it.
we ain't running any shit right there.
Yeah.
The so we all got together, and because obviously in the middle of COVID we can't we can't go and visit each other, and
COVID-2?
we can't. Yeah,
Yes.
hashtag COVID-2.
Yeah.
And so we all decided to just pull our fire pits out in the front yard and all sort of talk loudly across the street to each other.
I wish that
Which
didn't
I'm sure our
sound
other
so
neighbours have-
rude.
Yeah, I know.
Is it a
your
large
fire pit
street?
up.
Can you talk to those across the street?
Yes.
That's
Probably breaching.
Yeah, it's like-
probably breaching COVID lockdown rules. If I was a police officer listening, I'd probably go and have a bit of a sniff around that street. Actually,
Look, we have had some visits. I'm not going to lie.
have you?
Yeah, we've had a couple of visits.
Okay.
but surely all
Why
working
are
together,
you
can
dickheads
make
all
them
talking out
disappear.
here on the street together?
Well, see, that's the thing. From my understanding, we're not breaching any sort of protocols by sitting on our front lawns having a fire
Because you're
pit.
technically in your own front yard.
Correct.
Well, do you have megaphones or something? What?
Oh, no, I'm pretty.
How do you get into somebody 4 houses up?
Oh, because so someone is directly next door and someone is directly across the road. So we don't have.
So the fire pits
entire
are
street.
for smoke signals, essentially.
Pretty much. I'm getting really good at it. I burnt some blankets, but I'm getting heaps better now. They all had measles in them anyway, so it doesn't matter. It was smallpox.
wow.
I can't remember.
Historical reference.
Yeah, no.
Poor historical reference. Incorrect historical reference.
Irrelevant historical reference. Any other things we want to kind of quickly wrap up with before we leave?
Anyone got any suggestions for dealing with gas in a baby? I didn't realise this was going to be such a big thing. Any help would be much appreciated.
Farty babies, gassy babies.
Yeah, please.
Just say one word or one thing. Gripe water.
Yeah, okay.
It's a little bit controversial.
Yep.
There's an alcoholic version and there's a non-alcoholic version, and then there's another mystery version. So
Should I go the mystery version? Mystery.
if you can,
Yeah, mystery
If you
version
can-
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
if you can find a chemist, seriously,
Yeah.
if you can find a chemist to mix up the mystery version,
Sweet.
you're doing very well because that stuff is amazing.
All right.
We got one batch of it and then we couldn't get it again.
All right, mystery
But
version gripe water. Great.
But the Coles purple and blue labelled bottles were pretty good too.
That-
So gripe water.
That's
Gripe
great.
Is this like baby Pfizer or something? We know it exists, but it's really hard to get your hands on.
Oh, this stuff was a nightmare. Like we got it from a friend, and they had some left over, and so we got this stuff, and it was phenomenal. Like it was just kind of the baby was just zook, and then we talked to her chemist, and they said, "Oh no, we don't mix it up anymore because you have to do it like it's a proper old school pharmacy."
You reckon
Style
dark
for-
web?
Yeah.
You reckon
It's
I
like
could
a
get it on the
compound.
dark
Like
web?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you had to. And so,
Right.
but no one would do it anymore. Like the guy who made it moved away to another pharmacy somewhere, like
Mr. Gripe.
in a different state type thing. And so, if you can track down the guy who makes this magical, it was like baby breath or baby blow or something like that, it was called.
Baby
It was
blow.
magical gripe. Yeah, magical gripe water.
Magical.
But
It's just a bunch of babies talking really fast and buying stock.
That's good. It's good. We that's a great. Thank you. That's really good advice. We got some of the more medical sounding, less kind of 50s prospector name
Yeah.
product. I think it was called like Infanticol or something like that.
Yeah. Gripe water does sound very kind of
Yeah.
prospector tonic, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, made in a bath.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think that's why this other one was. Like, it's that kind of thing that it was probably just laudanum or something.
It was probably sold by a father and son who travelled town to town selling it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Is it the sort of thing that if you haven't mixed it correctly, if you put a ladle into it, the ladle would come out without the spoon portion on it?
I hope so. I just poured it straight in my child's mouth without worrying about any of that.
All right, so mystery gripe water is what I'm looking for.
Mystery gripe water. If anyone knows where you can
Right.
find mystery gripe water,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the bomb.
Great,
All right.
good to hear.
Well, that's it for this week. Thank you, Rich and Ben, our pants panel experts, and Monty. Glad to have you back, sir.
Great to be back.
Dad on.
And we're going to get more into some Monty questions next time. So see ya.
Peace out, y'all.
Hey, Stu,
Hey.
I'm feeling kind of unfunny tonight, but this caught me and made me laugh a bit. Listen to this from news.com. It's a headline followed by a subheader. Pro paintballer sacked over cruel post. A professional paintballer has been slammed and then sacked from her team after a TikTok post went viral for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
What do you think a World War II vet would think of that post? Like, a professional paintballer has been sacked for something she said on TikTok? What is the world now? Like, and then I read further. It was her on TikTok reacting to a video of a kid who had COVID who was in hospital. The kid was on the larger side, and she said he doesn't need a vaccine, he needs a fucking treadmill. And I was like, and she's been sacked from, get this, Team USA paintball, the national team. What is the world now?
Can she go and play for Team Canada now?
Well, they wouldn't take a bully like her. That's more of a French team. Yeah, Puerto Rico team.
Russian?
Maybe Russian team would love it. That
Russian Olympic Committee?
What's with that? It's just Russia. Why? What the fuck was that?
Why are you so concerned about, what World War II vets think about the TikTok kind of era?
They're the social conscience.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of crossover. There's probably only, a handful of buggers left.
The greatest generation, mate. Like, what do we got? We got TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've also got paintball.
Yeah, that's true. And paintball.
Oh, Lucy.
Oh, Lucy.
If you're listening to this podcast while trying to go to sleep, and quite frankly, it's probably a good idea, good time to listen to it, here's something that might help tip you over the edge into dreamland. It's some Dad Pants ASMR.
Croque Monsieur. Reuben. Sanjay Mandraker. The Wreck of the Cesperus. Ferdinand Magellan's Taint. Rhythm is a dancer.